I want all of you brain dead, cowardly. Both sides are the same.
Over the last 50 years, the capitalist system managed by centrists and liberals has overseen the transfer of trillions of dollars worth of wealth from the working and middle classes to the richest 1%. And they've achieved this because Democrats and Republicans alike have not only permitted but championed the rise of an economic system that has de-skilled labour, automated labour processes, made workers increasingly irrelevant to those labour processes, made work precarious, increased the reserve army of labour, allowing bosses to discipline workers more easily, smashed trade unions, forced wages down, and impoverished millions of people through healthcare and rental poverty. Doing all of this while simultaneously handing hundreds of billions of dollars in bailout money to banks who brought that economy to its knees through legalised smash and burn money making practices. And all the while doing nothing about crumbling infrastructure, food poverty, wealth inequality, health insurance feudalism, and compelling people to meagre lives working 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to give half to 2/3 of their earnings to parasite landlords who have absolutely no regulation or oversight, resulting in their indifference towards the proliferation of slums. And that was on your watch. The Republicans and Democrats have had decades to actually make substantive changes to America and have consistently failed to do so, either because they don't really care, are completely incompetent, lack any real vision, or are unable or indifferent to do anything that would challenge the status quo. Your political system caused this mess. Trump exists because liberals and centrists failed to deliver on their promises. You then have the audacity to blame this on the very people who have been shouting for decades, if not centuries, that the terrible conditions brought by capitalism on the lives of the working class and the endless lies and failures of centrist politicians, their hollow promises and indifference would result in some kind of social upheaval, whether to the left or in this instance to the right. Well, this is the result. When the centrist Social Democrat government in Weimar Germany failed consistently to resolve the economic problems that people faced, when they chose to side with the wishes of the rich, when they chose to offer concessions to the fascists rather than give concessions to the left, Nazism prevailed. The people who rejected the political system in America, even those who voted for Trump, are not to blame for Trump. The blame rests on the mealy-mouthed, grandstanding, incompetent, lying liberals and centrists who were perfectly comfortable with allowing the entire economy to destroy the hopes and dreams of millions of Americans. That's the reason for Trump. You abandoned your pledges, you disregarded people, and you allowed capitalism to run roughshod over people's lives, making it increasingly impossible for them to progress through life. Hopelessness is what the Democratic Party has brought to America. And rather than listening to left critiques of the laissez-faire economic policies that reforged the American economy into a neoliberal bastion of market supremacy, profit motive worship, low-paid jobs, increasingly high costs of living, inferior commodities and deregulation, you cheered on the stalwarts of capital and genocide because they carried little rainbow flags in their back pockets. I'd also like to point out that the Obama administration deported more immigrants than any other president in history, and the Biden administration continued the first Trump presidency's policy of mass deportations, resulting in more people being deported than under the first Trump administration. And that's to say nothing of the fact that it was the Democratic Party who sold Israel the bombs that resulted in 80,000 Palestinians being murdered. You are to blame. You are the harbingers of this disaster. You and those devious, cowardly, greedy liars on Capitol Hill are the architects of this downfall. I would spend less time doing bad Tallulah Bankhead impressions and more time listening to the 200-year wisdom of socialists and communists and try and imagine for one moment that maybe, just maybe, you aren't the good, upstanding and moral person you really think you are.